comes across when you read his filings and you see how easily he disputes all of her narratives. And the thing is why I say this is not a real lawsuit, and Ryan Reynolds knows this, is because he's got everything on camera, okay? There's even one part of the lawsuit where he says, like, you know, this whole idea is like a sexual harassment. She invited him to her penthouse and like he was holding her baby. Like the guy that sexually you're not having him to your house and letting him hold your kids. Now, in my view, is Ryan Reynolds is now abusing his wife. This is like litigation abuse. He is trying to inflict pain. Again, this is my perspective, pain and punishment, because he has come undone, realizing that she had some sort of like an emotional affair with Justin Baldoni. I mean, the way this lawsuit describes is like they were riding into the night together.
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. The Hollywood dream couple, right? They're funny, glamorous, and always seem to be playfully roasting each other online. But what if that humor isn't as lighthearted as it seems? What if beneath the charming back and forth, there's real tension? Some fans are convinced that Ryan's relentless sarcasm isn't just for laughs. It's actually covering up deeper resentment. And with recent rumors swirling, plus a messy legal battle with Justin Baldoni, it's time to take a closer look. Is Ryan's humor a harmless part of their relationship? Or are we watching cracks form in one of Hollywood's most beloved marriages? Let's break it all down. Blake and Ryan first crossed paths in 2010 on the set of Green Lantern. At the time, Blake was dating Gossip Girl co-star Penn Badgley, while Ryan was married to Scarlett Johansson. But by the time Green Lantern wrapped, things had changed. Blake and Penn had ended their relationship, and not long after, Ryan and Scarlett announced their separation. Then came the infamous double date. Blake and Ryan went out with other people, but according to Ryan, sparks flew between them instead. Just a few months later, they were officially an item. From the outside, it looked like a whirlwind romance, but some have questioned whether there was more to the timeline than meets the eye. Did their chemistry on set lead to something more before their previous relationships had officially ended? While there's no solid proof, the quick turnaround definitely raised eyebrows. Since then, Blake and Ryan have built a reputation as Hollywood's favorite relatable couple. They poke fun at each other on social media, they troll one another during interviews, and they make it seem like their entire relationship is built on playful teasing. In an industry where most celebrities take themselves too seriously, this dynamic made them instantly likable. But over the years, that same humor has started to feel a little off. Ryan, in particular, has developed a habit of making Blake the punchline of his jokes, sometimes in ways that don't seem entirely affectionate. One of the most infamous examples came when he posted about a painting he owns, saying, "If there's ever a fire, I'm grabbing this first. And then I'll come back for Blake." On the surface, it's just another sarcastic joke. But when you start piecing together all the similar comments he's made over the years, a pattern begins to emerge. Then there are the birthday posts, or rather, the lack of them. Most celebrity couples take birthdays as an opportunity to publicly gush about their partners. Sweet messages, heartfelt tributes, sentimental throwback photos. Ryan? He takes the exact opposite approach. Every year, he makes a point of posting the most unflattering, ridiculous photos of Blake he can find. Sure, it's funny the first time, maybe even the second. But after a decade of this, some fans are starting to wonder, why does he always go out of his way to embarrass her? Even more eyebrow-raising is the fact that on Blake's 34th birthday, instead of posting about her, Ryan tweeted about singing along to Mariah Carey's Fantasy, calling it his favorite thing that's ever happened. It might just be Ryan being Ryan, but others think it's yet another example of him treating Blake as an afterthought. And this isn't just online.
20 times Ryan totally owned Blake on Instagram. And it's like him posting bad pictures of her.
Okay, no thank you, because this man coined the original like, I hate my wife millennial trope. And it's like, what's the joke? That you're just constantly a jerk to your wife? So in this week's Trash News, a lot of information has come out about Ryan Reynolds that has people talking. And I want to cover it because anytime I would talk about how I don't like Ryan Reynolds either, it was not well received by everyone. When Blake Lively was going down, everyone was like, can we leave Ryan out of it? We love him. And I was like, no, we do not. And I think it's like the one thing that both sides of this case can agree on, because this narrative honestly fits into both arguments. So I'm not gonna share my particular opinion on the case at this point because I don't think you guys are gonna love it. And at this point, it needs to end somewhere else. But before we dive into why I originally didn't like him, let's talk about what's happened this week. And Candace Owens dropped a bunch of claims about Ryan Reynolds being the actual villain this whole time. She said that she got a tip that he was the one who came onto set and started acting horribly and started trying to take over, which is now also leading to rumors of him scabbing and writing during the strike if you're looking at the full timeline. But him coming in and being a total jerk to everybody makes perfect sense to me. Because for the longest time, Blake and Ryan coined this like millennial couple trope of your husband just like low-key hating you and like constantly being rude to you. It spawned a generation of women who were like, oh, I just love it when my man's like a little bit mean to me. And as an older Gen Z, I thought it was cute for a second until my brain started to finish fully developing in my 20s, and then I realized it's a little bit weird. Like sure, every once in a while a few funny posts here and there, but it is constant. And then one day I looked at it in a bigger context and realized he gets typecast in most of his films to play like the funny, charming guy who's actually just a jerk to everyone and says it through jokes. And one day I had to ask myself, if he wasn't attractive, would this still be funny? And then Matt Rife came along and did it way less subtly, and I had to realize, oh, he's just older Matt Rife. And then you have all of his exes who have never had particularly wonderful things about him, specifically Scarlett Johansson, who he was married to when he originally met Blake Lively, and there were a lot of questions around that timeline. Also in line with all of this, it was always alluded to that he was quite controlling and couldn't stand women who were more successful than him or possibly more in the spotlight. I could see a man like that easily coming into a set and trying to take over if there was another man either threatening your wife or just more powerful than you. And let's not forget, they both got married on that plantation. Someone also found an article where he admits that when he was filming that horror movie, he improvised hitting a child. And he defended it by being like, I don't know what came over me, but the kid thought it was super cool. That's a straight up crazy sentence. There also were previous allegations that he was horrifically mean during the filming of Deadpool 2. But overall, I think Ryan Reynolds being a jerk could fit into either of the narratives. But I do encourage you, next time you watch some of his stuff, ask yourself, would an unattractive man get away with this, or is he just pulling a full Matt Rife? Is he just using this bit he's established to be rude?
Even in interviews, Ryan has made some comments that, if you really listen to them, sound less like teasing and more like subtle digs. Take, for example, his Good Morning America appearance in 2017 when asked about his wife's cooking. Ryan responded, "Blake is a great cook, but Jake Gyllenhaal might just be a little bit better." The host laughed, but when they pointed out that Blake probably wouldn't be happy about that comment, Ryan doubled down, saying, "I'm moving out at the end of the month. I'm actually moving out right now under this desk." It's classic Ryan Reynolds humor. Dry, sarcastic, and self-deprecating. But when you step back and look at all the times he's made these kinds of remarks, you start to wonder if there's some real truth buried under the jokes. Of course, Blake isn't completely innocent in this dynamic either. She's been known to poke fun at Ryan's career, his hair, and even his anxiety while watching sports games. One of her most notable jabs came when Ryan was starring in Detective Pikachu. In an interview, Blake dismissed his work on the film, saying, "He didn't even change his voice. It just sounds like him." Another time, when Ryan was struggling with stress during a soccer game, she joked that she paid for ESPN Plus just to watch him have a meltdown in real time. But the key difference? Her jokes usually target his work, not his personal qualities. Ryan, on the other hand, often makes Blake the butt of the joke in a way that feels more dismissive. And this isn't just speculation from fans. Psychology experts have noted that sarcasm can often be a form of masked aggression, especially in long-term relationships. Studies suggest that couples who constantly joke at each other's expense, especially in ways that feel one-sided, often experience deeper communication issues behind the scenes. And when you look at Blake and Ryan's relationship through that lens, things start to look a little different. Could it be that all these jokes are actually covering up some real frustrations? Then there's the fact that Ryan's past relationships didn't exactly end on a smooth note. His divorce from Scarlett Johansson was reportedly due to personality clashes, with sources saying Ryan wanted more attention and devotion than Scarlett was willing to give. Considering how much Blake and Ryan have leaned into their power couple persona, some wonder if he enjoys being the dominant one in the relationship, something that might not sit well with Blake, who's an A-lister in her own right. And let's not forget the lawsuit drama. Right now, Blake and Ryan are wrapped up in a legal battle with Justin Baldoni over the upcoming film adaptation of It Ends With Us. The details are still murky, but tensions seem to be running high. Could outside stress be adding fuel to an already shaky foundation? It's no secret that Hollywood marriages rarely survive under pressure. And if there were already underlying issues, this lawsuit could be making things worse. Of course, at the end of the day, only Ryan and Blake truly know what's going on behind closed doors. Maybe their humor is exactly what keeps their relationship strong, and they genuinely love their dynamic. Or, just maybe, all the sarcastic digs and online trolling are signs of something deeper, something we're only now starting to see. So what do you think? Is this just a case of a couple who loves to joke around, or is Ryan's sarcasm a red flag that's been hiding in plain sight? Could the world's favorite Hollywood duo be dealing with more tension than they let on? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a deep dive like this one. Until next time, till next.